Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, where A-list scandals collide with real-world legal expertise. I'm Al Reynolds, your judge and your host, and here to pull back the curtain on the jaw-dropping legal battles rocking Hollywood, the royal family, and reality TV today. And joining me today will be my legal beagles. First up, that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thanks for having me back, Your Honor. It's Monday. I had a great weekend. Hope you did.
Yeah, my weekend, we're watching the fire still here in LA, but they did lift the evacuation in my zone, and I am allowed back in my apartment, and I can also shelter in my apartment. So, yes, thank you very much for asking. All right, joining that fiery attorney, Shatan Turner, will be shit they didn't teach me in law school. Attorney Jason Weiss, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you so much for having me, Your Honor, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm happy that you're safe and sound.
Oh, thank you very much. I miss those Florida days where you and I used to hang out on the beach.
Come on down.
In Miami. Oh, and last but not least, humorist at law, Sean Carter, counselor. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
How you doing, Your Honor? Let me do a quick Attorney Turner. Take my glasses off. Give me that. I can't do that because my eyes are not too good looking. But go ahead. Keep going.
All right, tonight's docket is overflowing with controversy. Jay-Z is determined to squash these serious allegations of assault. The View co-host Sonny Hostin is in hot water over alleged insurance fraud, and the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni feud is heating up the entire Tinseltown like the fires. Meanwhile, Prince Harry is headed back to the UK for a showdown with the British tabloids again. And Chase Chrisley, yes, you heard me right, Chase Chrisley's barroom smackdown can land him in a legal mess he can't talk this one out of. And brand new tonight, everybody, we're trying something new. We're debuting a segment where you, our viewers, and our legal panel decides whether our celebrities are guilty or not guilty in the court of public opinion. Court is now in session. All right, first case, rap mogul Jay-Z has filed a motion to dismiss a sexual assault lawsuit that he says is baseless. Variety magazine reports his legal team claims that there's zero credible evidence. Is it a publicity stunt, many are saying, or is this a legitimate claim? All right, let's find out. I'm going to go to you first, Attorney Weiss. In a motion to dismiss, what exactly must Jay-Z's team prove to convince the court these claims have no legal footing? Now, in the chambers, you did share with us the actual lawsuit that was filed and on the docket. Counselor Weiss, please bring us up to speed.
So what was filed in the docket was what's called a Rule 11 motion for sanctions. And I actually got to read the entire 30 pages of it while we're in chambers. And I would say 28 of the 30 pages were all focused on the attack on plaintiff's attorney. The whole thing is about that plaintiff's attorney should have done better research, should have pled it better, should have. And as a result, the case should be dismissed. And that's what the entire motion is about. It talks about inconsistencies. It talks about that he didn't do his research. And it's really an attack on plaintiff's counsel. And it really doesn't go into the merits of the case much. It talks about some inconsistencies, and that's about it.
Attorney Turner, how does a judge typically decide if there's sufficient evidence to move forward?
Well, so the judge is going to evaluate the facts that are before them, view them in the light most favorable to the plaintiff, and then decide what they're going to do. So procedurally, right, the motion to dismiss is a formal request filed by Jay-Z in this case because he's the defendant, asking the judge to throw out the case because it lacks merit and doesn't state a valid legal claim. And so there are certain parameters that the judge has to apply because it's all on motion, which means it's a series of briefs or papers as opposed to testimony. And the judge is just trying to figure out whether the case can proceed based on what has been pled.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to you, Attorney Carter. So tell me the. Okay. What's that? Something. Attorney Turner, if a lawsuit is dismissed, if Jay-Z is granted this dismissal, can the accuser refile under different grounds, or is the game over?
It depends. Now, Jay-Z is asking that the case be dismissed with prejudice. And that means nope, case is over. But the judge doesn't have to do that. The judge can say, hey, you can actually refile if you plead different facts, if you do something different, etc. As Attorney Weiss said, the biggest point of this is not to get the case dismissed, because at this point, basically what he has to prove is that even if everything she says is true, you still don't have a case. And obviously, if everything she said is true, they have a case. But what he's saying is that the other guy was too sloppy. Busby's so sloppy, taking all these cases, and as a result, he didn't even look at this. And so fine his butt. Give me some of that money back that I'm spending. And by the way, Jay-Z apparently decided he don't like his kids because he's going to spend every dime he got on this legal defense. He's filing a brief every day. I don't even get it.
How does that work, and what's the benefit of that?
There isn't a benefit except for the PR, and we talked about this before. Every time one of these headlines that come across that says motion to dismiss, et cetera, it gives people an idea that maybe this doesn't count for anything. Although Jay-Z had a win last time, he want to get a win every day. And it seems like he just should leave on the last win, and until there's something that's decided otherwise, he should just let it go.
So let me ask you this, Attorney Weiss, because you read the deposition, I guess, or the court documents. Why? What's the word I'm looking for here? How are certain people able to argue dismissal and certain people are not? Does that make sense? Like, why
It does. And look, there's grounds for dismissals. Look, you could go ahead and you could try to file a motion to dismiss because they pled something wrong. Something was outside the time limit. Something, you have technical grounds for a motion to dismiss, and then you also have grounds where there's no way I could have done it. The argument that they're making right now is 100% technical, and it's also based on the actions or lack of actions on behalf of the plaintiff's attorney. That's what this is all focused on. They're basically saying it's sloppy, it can't be real, it can't be legit, etc., etc. What do I see happening here? At best, if the motion to dismiss is granted, it's going to be without prejudice, and he's going to get another opportunity to clean it up and file again. That's my gut.
Got it. All right, Attorney Turner, tell me this. It seems like Jay-Z's legal team is really working overtime. In your perspective, what do you think his legal team look like? It's not just one or two attorneys, right? He probably has about 10 people's eyes on this at the same time with a couple of paralegals.
I don't.
I'm
thinking of a farm with chickens running around. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm sorry.
No, I'm serious. I'm just thinking about the legal stuff that I've gone through. When I was married, not married, and we had a pretty large legal team. Like, it wasn't like just 2 or 3 people. It was like a number of people, and everybody contributed. And you had a lot of people, coming with different angles and concepts and ideas and tactics and strategies. So I can only imagine what Jay-Z's look like.
Let me help you out here. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is not a particularly complicated case. So he's at a big firm, I imagine, where they do have lots of resources that they can draw upon. But this particular case, in terms of how the allegations are made, this is not, who has a very large team is Diddy, because there's so tentacles related to the allegations, and he's got RICO, and that has its own things. So you have all these people who are researching and trying to do stuff. Under these circumstances, for this motion to dismiss, I don't know that it would take a lot of people. I mean, the way that I would staff it if I were the partner, I'd be the partner. I'd have 1 or 2 associates and a paralegal and a legal assistant, and that would probably be enough based on the at this stage. Yeah.
Okay, Attorney Carter, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so his firm is a firm called Quinn Emanuel. Give me an example of how big a firm Quinn Emanuel is. They have 1,000 attorneys. They have $2 billion of annual revenue.
Oh, wow.
The average per partner profit is about $2 million a year. You don't get that by putting just one associate on something. All right, that's
Right.
not how you get $2 million a year, right? They got
Right.
everybody. All right, the mailman, the people in the coffee room, they got everybody on there.
Everybody.
And he apparently is willing to pay him to do it.
They have
So-
23 pages of attorneys on their website. The first page is A and B only.
Wow.
I wasn't anticipating what they might be doing to pad their pockets, but in this case, at the motion to dismiss stage, they're not doing a ton of investigation. Like it's such a straightforward claim that I just don't think they need all those people. But people also if you have like Attorney Carter and Attorney Weiss, these are important men, right? So if you're trying to impress them with the defense that you're bringing, then maybe you have a lot of people so that you can say, who's bigger, right? Whose legal team is bigger, right?
Oh, who's smarter? Who's smarter, right? It's also like who's smarter. Kenny Black, thank you so much. Kenny Black shares, you guys teach us so much. You're creating a monster because my brain retains all this info. Great, Kenny. That's exactly what this show is designed to do. Kenny Black also has a question that I want you guys to answer as well. Since Diddy has criminal and civil charges, would the same firm handle it or multiple, and would they work with each other? Who wants to take that? All right, go, Weiss.
Quinn Emanuel is so huge. They have a civil department. They have a criminal department. They have it all. If it were someone like me handling it, I don't do criminal law. So I would, reach out to Brian Ross and I'd say, dude, we got to go ahead and co-counsel this thing. You handle all the criminal. I'll handle all the civil. But they're going to handle the whole thing soup to nuts.
So that firm right now is probably working overtime, right? That firm's probably working overtime right now, right?
Oh, and the question, I apologize, Attorney Carter brought it up. Since Diddy has criminal and civil, same thing with his firm, right? They're huge as well. I'm sure they're going to handle the whole thing together. Got it. Okay. What were you saying, Attorney Carter?
Yeah, and it all depends. I can actually see a situation where, due to conflicts or basically the expertise, you might get different lawyers from different firms that handle different aspects of it. West Coast, East Coast, whatever. Some of these firms are big enough though that they have actually West Coast and East Coast departments, etc. But I can see, and I guess I'm gonna take a look here at Diddy's attorneys. But I imagine that, quite frankly, he's got a lot of attorneys. Because remember, RICO is a different thing. Like the criminal RICO is different than some of these, assault cases. They deal with, drug conspiracy and all that type of stuff. So you might have to go out and get somebody different to do that. But Jay-Z, at least in this matter, because he's only been sued once, and it's a civil case, and he's got a whole firm working for him, a big firm. By the way, if you're out there, Quinn, this is what I do. So give your boy a call. I'll come out and talk to y'all.
All right, Legal Beagles, thank you very much. If you ever face accusation, algoritms you believe are baseless, like the lawyers are saying here, document everything. And remember, the burden is on the accuser to prove wrongdoing. All right, let's go to our second case. Sonny Hostin and husband fight insurance fraud allegations. All right. Sonny Hostin is facing federal fraud allegations. Sonny Hostin and Dr. Emmanuel Hostin. How did she get on the lawsuit? Is she on the lawsuit?
No.
Okay. So Dr. Emmanuel Hostin faced federal fraud allegations for supposedly overbilling insurers on medical procedures. They're calling this a hit job on their reputation. All right, I'm going to go to you, Attorney Carter, on this. What burden of proof must prosecutors meet in a medical insurance fraud case?
Right. So remember, this is a civil RICO case, but all civil cases, same thing. It's the preponderance of the evidence. They basically have to prove that it's more likely than not that he engaged in fraud. And this is a case where largely you're not going to have eyewitness, maybe a few witnesses, but for the most part, you can look at documents. And what I imagine what's going to happen is the jury's going to have to make a decision at looking at these billings, whether they seem reasonable in light of the average billing in New York, the amount of time spent. It's going to be difficult. And this is, by the way, a large case. Remember, there's 200 other doctors mentioned. So they're not going to be bringing that doctor on the stand and try to grill him, because they're going to have to make a larger case based on just a general assumption saying this must be the case because there's just too many people doing too much stuff.
So, Attorney Turner, you work in this type of industry, kind of, sort of. How significant is billing documentation and building or defending against these charges?
investigating these kinds of claims is standard for the government because the issue of appropriate.
Am I losing her? Can we get Miss Turner on the stage? There we go. Thanks. Go ahead.
I wasn't sure. Could you hear me when I was talking?
Try it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the issue of appropriate billing of insurance claims by providers and physicians is fairly standard. Like most medical offices and large healthcare institutions have departments of compliance that will do chart audits to review whether or not the billing's appropriate because of the potential penalties that can ensue if the billing is not appropriate. And these mistakes can be somewhat inadvertent, right? Upcoding and that sort of thing it happens. It's allowed. Often you can just return the money if there is a determination that there's just an inadvertent mistake. When they decide to pursue it more pointedly, it makes you think that they have determined that from their analysis, they don't think that it's a simple mistake. But this case involves so many people that it's not really clear to me whether Dr. Hostin is being used for his celebrity to draw attention to this case.
To all the other cases, yeah.
Right. The case is big enough anyway because it's got 180 doctors. So that alone should make it sensational. But I think that we should all be suspicious that they keep putting his name. Like I have never, and I've been doing this work for a long time, seen on page 6 of the Post, like somebody talking about an insurance billing case. I mean, come on.
yeah, but of course, he's married to the View lady, like I used to be. All right, Jason, let me ask you this: if convicted, what kind of fines or jail time are we talking about for insurance fraud?
He could go ahead and spend a lot of time behind bars and be fined a huge ton of money, but I don't really think it's going to get to that. They're seeking $450 million in damages. And again, this is not a criminal case. This is a civil case because it is being brought by American Transit. So right now, there's no jail time is not on the table. It's not even being looked at. What they're suing for is $450 million in damages. The one thing I do want to say
why is a transit company suing for damages?
Because they're saying that's how much they were duped out of, and it was intentional. And I believe that means it's 3 times the amount. It's treble damage.
No. Tell me who American Transit is.
They are the one. They're the insurance company. They're a near bankrupt company and all of this. So they're trying to get their money, and that's what this is all about. He's not going to see jail time. He's one of 180 doctors. All right, maybe there was some inadvertent mistake. Maybe there was something. So if there was, his office will fix it, and they'll get the proper bills out there. And if they overbill, they'll return. I mean, that's what this is all about. But it's being sensationalized. And even when you said it at the top, when you talked about this case, right, it was Sunny and her husband, right?
Right.
She's not named in the party. She has nothing to do with it. Now, where I think she stepped in it and she dragged herself in is now she's saying that her family's being attacked. They're going to bring a lawsuit for defamation. They're going to do all this. She plans on filing a $5 million countersuit for defamation. But
yeah, that's definitely a tactic. That's definitely a tactic to cool the coverage.
But she can't do that. The doctor would have to do it. She is not
right. When I see stuff like that, I know immediately she's using her platform, her morning platform, to stop the stories from like growing and more people picking it up and covering it. Because if you pick it up and cover it, she's going to add you to the list of people that she may add to following it. Okay, I think Keish M had a good question. I think you guys can answer. Would each doctor be either convicted or cleared individually, or will this be a single judgment? Good question, Keisha.
So it will be a collective judgment. Now, it might be the case that one or more of the doctors comes in and presents enough evidence that gets them individually removed from it, right? So you could go in and say, hey, I've never been a doctor. So, for instance, my name had actually been in there. I'd hire a lawyer to go in and say, okay, get Sean's name off the paperwork, all right? But at the end of the day, whoever lawyers or whatever plaintiffs or defendants are still on the paperwork will be responsible for the money. But it's hard to get that kind of money. That's the other thing I don't get is, how do you get that kind of money out of 200 different people? All right,
yeah,
it's very difficult. And go ahead.
It's going to be a long and protracted and messy piece of litigation. And the you know who's going to make money? Forget about the lawyers; they're going to make money, right? But who's really going to make money? The auditors, the financial accountants, the inspectors, all of the people that are going through the bills. And look, they're going to come out and they'll probably tick off one doctor at each point in time saying, Doctor number 1, we think that your billing records were a discrepancy of $80,000. If you pay a lump sum of $55 right now, we'll call it a day. He's stroking a check. He's out. Doctor number 17. And they're going to go down that whole thing. And the only doctors that want to fight it till the end, that have the big deep pockets, they're going to do it. But we don't know here what the doctor is, how much he's being accused of the wrongdoing.
Right. Okay.
$45 of the full. Here's a check, $45. No, we don't want your money. We want your name in the lawsuit.
I can imagine, though, he is definitely in Manhattan. I can imagine he has some pretty, high important clients. So I can imagine this is going to disturb his practice a little bit, because they're all going to go back to their bills and say, okay, now I need to look at what I was billed, which, even if it's not true for him, it's still a headache.
Well, I don't know in the short run, only because I've been involved in some of these kinds of things. He's a surgeon, and so how people tend to choose their surgeons is based on what they do and what they're good at, right? And he's an orthopod, so depending on his reputation, like, people will look at the bills and that might have a chilling effect, but the allegations are not malpractice, right? So people are a lot more forgiving about, maybe you coded this differently than
his back office instead of him.
Right, as opposed to
gotcha. So he can kind of push the buck to somebody else. All right, I got it.
Have you seen a single bill? Absolutely not.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. And now that I think about it, he could easily say, this is a coding issue. It just sucks that he has to go through it, though, because, publicly and reputation and PR wise, it is a shitstorm. And I
tell you what's interesting to me, and you could tell your girl, Attorney Turner, she need to take a Beyonce. What I love about Beyonce, among 100 things, is the fact that Beyonce don't talk to us unless she got something to sell us. She ain't gonna try to deny nothing. What does she have to say about Jay-Z? Not a damn thing. Ain't none of my business, right? And Sonny should have just been like above it. Like, it's above me now. I'm too big for this. I'm Sonny.
Well, this is a deal. Sonny can't, because she talks about everybody else all day, every day. So she's got to give people something to say. All right, everybody, these likes are liking. Please do me a favor and hit that like button. Also, please hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, please hit the share button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And as always, we love it when you drop down in the comments. And remember, folks, let this be a lesson. Always be transparent about billing. Look over your bills. And if something doesn't look right, be sure to ask the questions. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, let's jump to the Hollywood drama next. Okay, this is where the real tea comes. All right, our third case of the night. This has gotten so ugly. I can't wait to hear who wanted this. I think Sean. Who wanted the Blake?
I did one. I wanted bad.
Blake, all right, hold on. Blake Lively has filed a lawsuit against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni, citing workplace harassment. The alleged toxic environment has TMZ as well as U.S. Magazine in a frenzy. All right, let's go to you first, Attorney Carter. How does Lively prove her work environment was legally toxic under harassment laws, and especially harassment laws in the state of California?
Yeah, she's got a good chance in that regard. Basically, remember her allegations are that one, he kept coming in talking about all of his porn he watched, the women he had before. He was showing pictures, and then at one point he's trying to get her to be naked in the scenes with him, and all of that stuff. And here's the thing about it is that's totally believable because, quite frankly, he's a man in Hollywood. I get it. All right, if I'm in a movie with Halle Berry, we get naked. I grant you that. So I totally get that. All right. And basically, but the way she's going to prove it is by having witnesses or text, right? And that's the thing that gets people all the time. People don't realize you text somebody, even if you delete it on your end, it's still on their end. And right. T-Mobile always got a copy of it, right? So you cannot do stuff like that. But I think the bigger issue is with regard to the big claim that she has here is and here's my theory is that she's doing this not because she wants her sexual harassment money, whatever that would be. She's rich, Ryan Reynolds. She's fine. She's trying to rehabilitate her reputation because everybody out there is not saying nice things about her. And this is why I wanted to get this case because Blake Lively owes me about 45 minutes. I didn't do my research for this case. I got myself down a rabbit hole on YouTube. All right. By the way, everybody is on YouTube now. Not now, but after the show's over, just type in Blake Lively Mean Girl, and you're gonna see everybody went in on her.
Oh yeah, they sure did,
etc. And so she's trying to basically say, "But well, I'm the face of Me Too, so don't cancel Me Too." And I gotta see, I canceled her 3 times in watching those interviews that she did before. All right, you on your 4th one, Blake. So be careful, girl. And so the point is simply this: is that this is like I said, a run-of-the-mill sexual harassment case. It's probably provable, but I'm not sure it's going to get her end goal, which is to rehabilitate her reputation.
You know what I thought that was so interesting, though? This producer, director, he's come and been very vocal and said, listen, these legal woes are not affecting our launch date. He's like, I wish she would be quiet because if he doesn't make this money back, the studio, his freaking movie is going to be considered a flop. So did you guys read about that where the director came forward? I think I sent it to you guys earlier today.
That's for the other one. I think it was A Simple Favor 2.
Yeah.
The director
she's in it, right? And he's in it.
But her dispute with that is with the girl that I love so much, Anna Kendrick. Apparently they have some feud. And so to Sean's point, Attorney Carter's point, this reputation issue that Blake is suffering is not limited to this movie. The one with The Simple Favor 2 has nothing to do with sexual harassment. It has to do with some feud between the actresses. But the thing with me in this sexual harassment one, it's just curious to me. Now, I'm pro Me Too, pro feminist, pro women, don't think anybody should be harassed. And I also, from what I understand, believe that Hollywood is the industry is one where power controls. I don't know who this actor is. Like, who is he? Like, how is he feeling so emboldened that he was going to harass an A-list starlet? So that's my question is, why didn't she, now not to judge the victim, but I just need to understand how this actually happened because, like, I don't have a lot of power at work, but I have, and if the mail boy is harassing me, that's just the end of the mail boy, right? Like, that's just...
Right.
Look, she's married to Deadpool and she's got Wolverine as his best friend. So I mean, she's a superhero. That's all I got to say. But look, a lot of this is just, it might be to just get people to watch the film. You never know, right? I saw it before all this came out, and I'd probably go watch it again just to see what's going on. And I also I enjoyed Ask a Favor or whatever it was. So I'll probably watch the sequel.
Simple Favor.
Yeah.
So,
let me ask you guys this question then.
I can answer the question.
Would the studio be held liable if they failed to act on her complaining, to Shatan's point? If she has complained, because I could imagine that she complained if she was being harassed by a no-name actor on a huge project, could the studio be held liable if they didn't address it?
Great question. And it answers your other question. The reason that Baldoni can do this and the reason why the studio will be liable, they're named in the suit, is because guess who co-owns the studio? Baldoni.
Oh, no wonder he's in the movie.
That's how he was able to get away with this nonsense.
The director.
He's what?
I think he's the producer and the director.
So he and his buddy who directed co-founded Wayfarer Studios, which got the movie made. So yeah, he was basically her boss. That's how he was able to get away with this.
So she didn't like the fact that he was the boss and he was making her do extra scenes with him? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm simply saying the reason that
he had the power.
He had the power.
Okay, but he's the one that did the scenes with her, right?
True.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, she felt she was powerless, and whatever he said she had to do, because he basically is funding her being the star.
There we go.
All right, got it.
Yeah, he was her boss, is what he's saying. And so just like any traditional quid pro quo kind of analysis, the power, I guess, was with Baldoni, even though I didn't know who he was, and he was writing her check. And so
how okay, go ahead. I thought, especially when it comes to, is there a difference between workplace harassment and sexual workplace harassment, or in her case, she's combining the two?
They're like lollipops. They're like lollipops. They're different flavors. So you can be harassed, and it could be for a reason other than sexual. It could be like, I just don't like you, and so I create an unpleasant environment that's severe and pervasive enough to rise to the level of harassment.
Got it. Okay.
It could be that I want to get in your pants, and so the harassment is sexual in nature. And in this case, it was the kind that Attorney Carter wants to do to Halle Berry. All that kind of stuff.
All right, let's keep it moving here. This is now Justin Baldoni. He is responding to the harassment allegations. Right? He's not taking it quietly. He's calling Lively's allegation a smear campaign. Are we heading for a countersuit? What do you think, Attorney Weiss? If Baldoni believes the claims are false, what must he demonstrate to file a defamation claim against Lively?
So basically, he's saying that's part of a smear campaign, and he's taking legal action against the New York Times, and he filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit because the publication, worked with Lively and collaborated with Lively to disseminate some sort of self-serving narrative. And that he's attacking them. Now the Times came out and said that their reporting was accurate, it was meticulous, it was responsibly reported, and they'll vigorously defend anything in here. So again, this is now, and he's really not attacking Blake Lively; he's attacking the New York Times. So this is just one big mess over that not that great of a movie that was on Netflix. And they all just need to go ahead and, lick their wounds, shake hands and go their own way. But again, it needs to be stopped, right? If what she's accusing him of doing is correct, that needs to stop. That can't be tolerated.
But what about the witnesses? What about the witnesses? If he's attacking her on the set, I mean, shouldn't there be witnesses, Attorney Turner? Like what, or Carter? What? I'm confused.
Well, people who harass generally do it under cloak of darkness, right? There's not a whole lot of witnesses generally. Now, under these circumstances, there might be some circumstantial evidence witnesses that can say he went into her trailer, he came out. But for the most egregious types of things, like unless you're at a freak off, it happens in private. Now, the interesting thing about this is, in some respects, this is an indictment about the movie industry. Like, how many kisses are required in order to get the scene right? How naked should you be to be comfortable enough privately that you can do it in front of the camera? Like, I don't know. I don't work in that industry, but people have different philosophies about what's necessary. Did they, here's the other thing, and I don't know if this is true, but like people have affairs on movie sets, right? And that's how Brad and Angelina got together. You know, I hope something didn't happen that she regrets. And now she's trying to say that, you know, it's this other story because her husband found out. Like, I don't know what this is, but there's so many layers to it. Like, it's not a casting couch situation, which is pretty easy. I couldn't get this job unless I laid on my back and performed these sexual favors. This is, I was doing this movie and all of these other things came up that I didn't consent to, and I'm uncomfortable, and I completed it anyway. And so I think this is going to actually add a different element to me too, because it's not as straightforward as the allegations that we heard from like Harvey Weinstein.
Okay, last question, Attorney Carter. This is for you since you went down that rabbit hole. What are the potential repercussions if the court finds that she intentionally fabricated evidence?
Oh yeah, I mean, then she's done. She's already on her last leg. Now, as far as the legal, repercussions, I would love to say, oh yeah, it's what is it? It's perjury and libel and slander and all that. But quite frankly, here's the thing about it: every court case, all right, has at least one person who's lying. All right, otherwise you don't go to court. Right, you can settle that. In most cases, I used to always tell my clients, both of y'all lying. All right, so lying in court is not usually going to be something that's so bad. I'm seeing here in the comments here, brother Christopher Liverman seems to have a lot of facts in the case that there's an allegation that Lively has doctored some of the texts that she sent, that she says Baldoni sent her.
That she leaked to the New York Times.
Absolutely. So she's caught in that kind of fraud. She's done. I mean, at least in Hollywood, no one's going to want to work with her. Who's going to want to hire her and then get sued behind it?
She invited him to the dressing room while breastfeeding. Wow, that's an accusation. Wow. Yeah, so she declined to have an intimacy coordinator on set. Her reputation is already done. Simple Favor is the only film she's working on. What did you say?
I was just going to say, like, inviting someone to your dressing room while you're breastfeeding, if, like, I breastfed like a hippie, right? All my kids till they were 3 years old. You get desensitized to it. Like, if you're it's just a function. So I wouldn't sexualize that and say because she invited me to her room while she was breastfeeding, she was multitasking, if that's the case. Like,
I just think the interesting part there is how people perceive certain things. You just have to always be concerned because now it's used as a weapon against her, right? All right, talking about a Hollywood.
Just so you know, the whole movie was about empowering women to get out of these abusive relationships. And, the complete opposite is what we're seeing here.
That's what's going on. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that is true. All right, everybody, talk about a Hollywood standoff. Now, this is one for sure. All right, let's jet across the pond for our next royal legal clash. Prince Harry's back in the UK, waging war against the tabloids over alleged privacy breaches. As U.S. Magazine reports, Harry wants accountability for years of hounding by the British press. Sounds like he needs some money. All right, let's go to, maybe if you guys can help us out, let's go to you, Attorney Carter. Under UK law, how does Harry establish that tabloids invaded his privacy illegally? And how does he think he's going to win a case like this when his family has been fighting against the tabloids for over 10 decades?
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, this is a weird UK thing. In the sense that, for instance, in the US, we have tabloids too, but they got sued all the time. And quite frankly, who's still reading the Inquirer? All right. But apparently in Britain, the Inquirer is like LA Times or New York Times, right? It's like the paper of record. And they've been getting away with this stuff all the time, right? Chasing, the princess died to a death. They have a different relationship with their tabloids. And when you are the royal family and you get all your stuff for free, you probably have to deal with that. All right. By the way, if you tabloid, you want to pay all my bills, you can tell all my business. So go ahead. And so I think his situation is going to be different. In the US, they would probably have a problem. I mean, the stuff that they do and the things that they talk about and just all up in these people's business is hard. But like I said, if you're royalty, if you're on the taxpayer dole, then yeah, we kind of get to talk about you.
So, Attorney Weiss, let me know, what do you think? Could this case redefine how tabloids cover public figures moving forward?
Not here in the United States. Nothing's going to change. This is all based on over there. And look, he did this. I think in December of 2023, he got a big victory and he won about $180,000, and then he got some legal fees back and all of this. So again, I don't think it's going to do anything here in the U.S. It's not going to change things in the U.S. And, you know, it's maybe it'll change the British media landscape, but it's not going to change anything here.
So even though, you know, what if he showed that the tabloid obtained and published private info without consent?
Well, that's one of the things that you know, he wants to hold these the British press accountable for things like that. So he's saying there's unethical practices and you know, and all of this kind of stuff. So he's really on a mission, or so it seems. He's committed to seeking accountability and reform in the media and the landscape over there. So you know, he's been very vocal about it, and it's very personal to him. And I'm sure they offered him money, and he said, "No, I want to take this through." So he might be one of the people that it's really about the principle, and he kind of has the money that he can fight on principle.
Does he have the money?
I think so.
Thought he separated himself. I don't know. Okay, let me ask you this, Attorney Turner, because you seem to be up on your tabloid gossip. What do you think about the difference of a person's privacy versus the public's right to be informed?
Well, I think there are layers to it depending on who the celebrity is. And so in this case, as Attorney Wise indicated, this is talking about British royalty, right? What interest and right do the British people have in what happens to their royal family, whom they pay, right? So that's really the question. And even though Prince Harry and Meghan have associated themselves from their royal duties, you know, they paid for him his whole adult life. And so it's a little bit of a different inquiry. I think that this issue of privacy in celebrities has been evolving. And I think the reason why this issue is kind of true blue for Harry and why he won't let it go in terms of the principle is, remember, he blames the paparazzi or the press for killing his mother.
His mother, right.
He also blamed them for running Meghan out of town because he thought the British press was racist and that they came for her. And he even issued a statement before they got married about the limitations of what he thought the press should do and how they should treat her. And so he's really been trying to use his position as a way to change not only how the paparazzi interacts with royals and celebs in general, but also to hold them accountable for being more woke and sensitive to the plights of people of color. So Prince Harry, despite the red hair, he's probably as black as they come, and he's really
He's
trying
blacker
to make
than her.
Exactly.
That ain't hard, brother. That ain't hard.
That's not hard at all. All right, let's ask the algoriters real quick. Algoriters, are we fans of Meghan and Prince Harry? Algoriters, are we fans of Meghan and Prince Harry? Drop down in the comments. Yes, no, maybe. We like them. We don't care.
So Kenny Black made a comment. The royals are literally paid by the British people. They have no right to privacy. That's an interesting take.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. But Deaf God said no. Tanya Kelly said yes. SL said no. Kenny Black says, I like Meghan and Harry. MJ Merriweather said, I like them. Okay, so it seems like there might be a consensus that we still like them in the United States.
I like them. I love their love story. I like the fact that she met him through a friend and they had this organic coupling. I think the reason
No, that wasn't organic. She was on a date. She was on a date with this Piers Morgan. She was on a date with him. Girlfriend called and said, "Girl, get over here. I got somebody I want you to meet." She leaves the date with Piers Morgan. What's his name?
Yeah, you got it.
Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan. She goes to the other date. Shit, her dance card was full that day because they were like, "Girl, you better get over here to get this the hairy guy." You know, he likes a sister with a little melanin.
Hold on for a second. To my
Very
friend, if you think you meet my man someplace, call me. If I'm on a date with somebody else, I'll leave, especially if I have Prince Harry versus Prince But the part that I like about it though is that it seems to be just it's a passion, it's a love story. The part that I do think is disingenuous, and this is why I think people hate on them, is because Meghan has said some things that don't make a whole lot of sense. Like when she was a kid, she had a poster of Prince William in her room, and then she said she didn't really know that much about the royal family. She
Exactly.
didn't know so I think that part is a little phony, but I do like them together.
No, I don't like the fact that she ruined this man's whole life. All right. He wasn't like, by the way, they started dating, they were kids in high school, and then he became Prince. He was Prince when she got there. All right. She come in and then get mad because guess what? The British tabloids are racist and elitist with the royal family. Yeah, because it's called a royal family. Yeah, I know that's actually how elitism works. All right. They were going to they don't want you in there. No. All right, you don't have a whole monarchy, but you married your way into the monarchy and then got mad when they start doing monarchy stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
You got to run around and be on Netflix trying to make money, 15 or suing people $15 at a time. He had his life set. He had to pay for another bill, and you don't run him off the gravy train because you just a little bit brown.
Well, this is the deal for me. Like, even if it's an organic love story, what did she actually think that she was going to just be endeared?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
That they weren't going to find out that your mother was black, that they were going to call your kids monkeys. Like, what did you actually think? If they treated Prince Diana the way they did, what in the Sam hell did you think how they were going to treat you? I just completely did not get it.
Love? Have you ever been in love, Judge?
I'm in love now. Yeah. but I tell you what, if the British royal family want to pay my bills.
Hold on. Let's understand this completely. We've all been in love, but she's been in television all her life. Her dad did audio on big films all their life. She knows Hollywood like the back of her hand. She knows public relations like the back of her hand. She knew what she was doing when she started dating Prince Harry. Be very clear. Look, all the women that she invited to the party were all celebrities. She knew exactly what she was doing as it related to courting him and getting him to the altar. And she played that PR very well. What she did not anticipate was the gross behavior of the people of the kingdom, as far as I'm concerned. And I think when she really caught the wrath of that, that's when she realized, oh crap, this is bad. They're treating me bad. Like, I can't PR this away. I can't look pretty for, photo ops and this go away. She was in the throes of being checked as being black, and she hated it.
Well, and I think that's Prince Harry's entire point with this lawsuit, right? This goes to your basic question about the limits of privacy. What Meghan, I think, believed, I don't know her, but call me Meghan, I think we could be besties. I think you're right. She thought that she could carefully curate and manage her image in a way which is like, this is what I want to show you.
Right.
This is what you get. And then I will have a private life with my husband. She totally didn't anticipate that once she had that fabulous wedding, she belonged to Great Britain. And that's where I think
exactly.
I'm gonna tell you now, she don't love that white boy. And let me tell you why. Think about it. If you love somebody, would you make them give up? All right, this ain't like, oh, he had to give up.
I wouldn't make him leave. I just couldn't ask him to leave the royal family.
Exactly. She made him leave the royal family, and she did. I'm gonna take your kids to San Diego. You can either you can be a once in a too pricey your dad, or you can give up a royal family. He got to sit there and get a job like everybody damn else. He had it set. All right, all she had to do was sit there and deal with a little racism. By the way, you can get some racism here too, girl. I know you tried. If you come out black again, you're gonna get some racism. All right, so don't act like you're a white girl, by the way, for the first 38 years. Let's be clear about that too. Now y'all got me mad. Y'all got me mad now.
This was the greatest abdication of a throne since the Wallace Simpson story back in the day. Harry decided that he no longer wanted to be royal because he loved that black girl. And to the British, she's always going to be that black girl. She was confused, Attorney Carter, about who she was until the British reminded her.
Oh, they reminded her quickly what color she was. Okay. Woo, that was a good one. And just so much. Let's go to the algorithms. Okay, we already asked them if they like Harry now. All right, let's keep it going. Let's head back stateside for a barroom brawl that's causing major waves. Finally, reality star Chase Chrisley allegedly slapped a bar manager at a Twin Peaks in Atlanta after refusing to leave while intoxicated. Could it be a misdemeanor assault or something worse? Let's find out. Okay, let's go to you, Attorney Weiss. You've handled a couple of these. What separates a misdemeanor assault from a felony in such bar altercations?
So, I mean, in this bar altercation, it has to do with the amount of damage. And first of all, he was arrested on suspicion of simple battery and released on a $10,000 bond. Suspicion of the battery. So the officers didn't see it. Supposedly, they watched videotapes afterwards, and they saw it because by the time they were there and called in and did all this to arrest him, he'd already left with his driver. So he was gone. The restaurant shared security footage of the incident with the police. And then all of a sudden, they're going to track him down and they're going to, do that. It's still under investigation. There's still a lot of things going on. And his lawyers, of course, say it's frivolous and completely blown out of proportion. He was just trying to pay his bar tab and leave.
Let me ask you this, Attorney Carter. Cameras are everywhere now these days, especially at establishments. How might surveillance footage play a role in proving or disapproving Chrisley's culpability?
That's going to be obviously the biggest point. Although I'm going to just sort of channel my inner Attorney Ross. I could see him saying, hey, if you can't hear what happened, then maybe he wasn't trying to hit you in the head. He was just trying to get past you to get to his keys. Remember, that's Attorney Ross would do that, right? Yeah. So yeah, chances are, here's the thing about it. This is ridiculous. I wouldn't even bother to rewind the tape for this. All right, because this is a simple assault. Obviously, nobody really got hurt, and you could sue him civilly. But guess what? He ain't got no money. His parents, all right, are both in jail. And what he need to do is stop acting a fool in a restaurant because he ain't got nobody to bail him out. Who gonna bail him out when both your parents in jail? All right.
His sister.
Oh, sister can bail him out. Right?
Yeah, she's holding all the family assets. She's over the family assets, I believe.
Fair enough. But then
because his brother's been arrested multiple times too. So
What I found most interesting about the case is it happened. What I find most interesting is it happened that
it's not like your mama. Yeah, your sister will leave you.
Yeah, good point. Your sister will leave you out there. And here's the thing about it, I get most interesting. This happened at a Twin Peaks restaurant. You know what Twin Peaks is? It's like Hooters, right? It's called Twin Peaks because it's the Peaks, right? and the point is this: if you mad with cleavage out, you got a problem. All right, you should have just been happy no matter what they said to me. I ain't never been to Twin Peaks and been upset. All right, God, I'm happy.
I don't know what to say.
Even when he takes his wife with him to Twin Peaks, he's still happy.
That's so
taking Baldoni. Since Baldoni seems to like breasts, it could have been all good.
So let me ask you this, Attorney Turner, since you're the civil attorney here, could the manager pursue civil damages on top of criminal charges?
Oh, the one who got slapped?
Uh-huh.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's generally a civil corollary to the criminal charges because you don't get money for criminal charges, right? The penalty for all criminal allegations is potential restriction of liberty, right? But if you're in it to get paid. And if he's a manager at Twin Peaks, chances are he would appreciate a little extra cash. You sue the rich kid who slapped you because you're trying to get some money.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, everybody. Chase and the Chrisleys and the clan, they sure don't need any more legal woes, but here we are. Now we have a special segment tonight on where our panel, as well as you, our viewers, weigh in on each celebrity's guilt or innocence in the court of public opinion. So let's go. It's time for this new segment, Guilty or Not Guilty in the Court of Public Opinion. I'll give you a quick recap of each case, and then we'll hear your verdict. If you're watching, go down into the chat. Remember, this isn't a real legal judgment, just a collective opinion, and it's called public opinion. Let's see who walks out with their public image intact. First up, Jay-Z says the sexual assault allegations lack merit. Is it a smear campaign, or is there more to the story? Is he guilty or not guilty? Attorney Turner, what say you?
I think Jay-Z is not guilty. Guilty of being shrewd and trying to, tarnish Busby's character through the sanctions motion so that Busby can't bring in any other cases. But as it relates to the underlying charges, I think he's not guilty.
Attorney Carter?
Jay-Z is only guilty of being all up in his feelings. He just needs to sit back, let this play out. It's looking good for him, and not be going to court every 3 hours.
Right, Attorney Weiss?
Jay-Z is guilty of paying crazy legal fees, and I agree with Attorney Carter. He should just go ahead and let the lawyers do their things and stop paying all those legal fees. And if you want to keep paying legal fees, I'll do it at a fraction of the cost.
I bet you will. Althea Lewis says not guilty. Daniel Cameron says not guilty. Tanya Kelly says not guilty. Jay Wadley says not guilty. All right, I'm Al Reynolds. I'm your judge, and we're going to find Jay-Z not guilty of the accusations being brought against him, but guilty is of having a lawyer in the beginning that was going in the wrong direction. I love the fact that they're counter corrected and they're back on track and they're attacking it in the PR with all of this just formed, poignant public relations to make you think he's getting off, he's off, and there's nothing important about this law case. Great job there. All right, next up, Sonny Hostin and husband. They insist the insurance fraud claims are false. Could this be a simple paperwork misunderstanding, or is there fire behind the smoke? Is there fire behind the smoke? Are they guilty or not guilty? Attorney Shatan Turner, what say you?
Not guilty.
All right, Attorney Carter.
I changed my mind from a couple of days ago. I'm going to say not guilty as well. He just got too much other stuff to worry about than trying to, overbill people. Yeah, he got Sonny to worry about. He should be looking at her. So I imagine it's just unfortunately, a clerical error in the back office.
Attorney Weiss.
I say not guilty, and I think Sonny needs to take it down a couple of notches so that they don't keep hitting front page of the newspaper and page 6. I understand she talks for a living, but sometimes silence is golden.
It's better. All right, I'm Al, I'm the judge here in the court, the Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. We're going to find Sonny and her husband not guilty of charges, but guilty of being a public figure that's going to bring attention to the issue. So that's what I see in that case. I think they're using him as a springboard to get attention. All right, Blake Lively, harassment allegations on a star-studded set. Is she bravely speaking out, or might it be an overreaction? All right, Attorney Turner, what say you? Guilty or not guilty? Is Baldoni guilty or not guilty?
I'm going to go with Blake on this one. He's guilty of creating an unpleasant work environment. Whether it's harassing, we'll see.
Attorney Carter?
As a fellow man, I'm sure he did it. Yeah, he did it.
Oh my God, you're finding him guilty?
He did it. Now, don't get me wrong. I still don't think it's going to help her in the long run because she's trying to rehabilitate her career, and that's over, baby. You've been mean girl too long.
All right, Carla Red Rodriguez said Baldoni is not guilty. I'll tell you, Attorney Weiss, what say you?
I say the two of them just need to go their own way, get in their own corners, go to their respective rooms, and work this out and get it over with. Because again, the message of the movie was empowering women, and this whole thing that's coming out is doing the complete opposite. And
this is a nail biter. Apple Pie said no guilt for Blake. Blake is guilty of Blake is guilty of dragging this situation. Justin is guilty of counter dragging the situation. Let's see, who else do we have? Jeanette Hunter said Baldoni not guilty. That's so interesting that a lot of the women would say not guilty. All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're going to find Baldoni not guilty of any type of workplace harassment. Let's keep it going. Next up, Prince Harry. He's back in the UK to take on tabloids for privacy invasion. Champion of personal rights or royal oversensitivity? Is he guilty of being too sensitive? Attorney Shatara Turner, what say you?
Absolutely not. Prince Harry is guilty of nothing other than loving his woman too much. And I got to respect a man who wants to protect his woman.
Okay. Attorney Weiss?
I'm still laughing because I love that. Whatever Attorney Turner said, sure, I'll go with that.
Not guilty. Attorney Carter?
I'm going to take my cue from Sister Danielle Cameron, who said she must have a heck of a tussie cat because Sister Cameron said she can't even get her man to leave his mama alone. So
all right. Elizabeth Biggs says Harry grow up. JP Mills says guilty of wasting the court's time. Ooh, so people do not agree with you, Attorney Turner. Althea Lewis said too sensitive, guilty. Carla Rodriguez says Harry guilty of being too sensitive. Kenny Black says Harry is guilty of accepting payment for the British and expecting privacy. Karen P says not guilty. Apple Pie says not guilty of anything. William would never do that for Kate. Lakers Kanye should sue a property. That's okay. And then let's see. Benjamin 12 say Harry, handle your business. Not guilty. Black love wins. All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in the court, Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And I like Harry. I really do. I like Harry. I think anybody that takes on the level of scrutiny and stress on your wife and your kids the way he has, I can't find him guilty of being a crybaby. Not guilty. He is not guilty. Sorry, I just can't do it. All right, last up, Chase Chrisley, a barroom slap that might escalate legal troubles. Just a drunken mistake or a pattern of reckless behavior. Attorney Turner, is Chase guilty or not guilty? Probably showing out at the bar.
I'm going to say Chase is guilty. I mean, I watched that show. He was always kind of like a wild card. And, his family is scrappy. That's the problem. When your family's known in these streets as being scrappy and you're accused of slapping people, people tend to believe it.
All right. Attorney Weiss?
I think he's guilty because they went back, they saw this video and then they had to go seek him out. So there was something on that video and guilty.
All right, Attorney Carter, what say you?
He's guilty of all the stuff, including being stupid. By the way, when you're that small, you're a little white boy, you need to keep your hands to yourself. All right. He obviously stopped the right person that day because I'm gonna tell you now, Chase, and I'm not even a tough guy, but you better not come up in here like that. That's all I know. Don't mess with me. Don't, because I'm being Twin Peaks. I'm in there every Tuesday. All right, they got great wings. So don't start nothing. Won't be nothing.
All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're gonna find Chase guilty of showing your AWS. Maybe it could be because he's stressed out because they don't have no money and he misses his parents.
Yeah,
that's true.
Remember, folks, our verdict here is just for conversation. Real court require real evidence. Now let's close with some legal takeaways. What a whirlwind. Now we've tackled accusations of assault, insurance fraud, workplace harassment, royal privacy battles, and bar brawls, then topped it off with a special verdict in our court of public opinion. So remember these 5 things. Evidence is everything. Transparency equals protection. Workplace harassment, know your rights, speak up clearly, and keep records. That's the takeaway there. Keep records of every type of incident that makes you feel uncomfortable. Privacy versus press. Even royals aren't immune to tabloid scrutiny. The law balances free speech and personal boundaries. And also, always remember, avoid physical confrontation. A quick slap could lead to a bigger legal consequence than you could ever imagine. Thanks for joining me, Al Reynolds, on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And remember, while the stars battle for their reputations, you can use their stories to protect yours. Until next time, keep it classy, keep it legal, and tune in for real-life lessons from the wild world of celebrity drama. Court is now adjourned.